The LEGO Castle theme is doing something we have never seen before, and it's at a place called the Training Ground. At the heart of the Silver Hound's kingdom stands the legendary arena where every warrior of the realm earns their name. This set introduces an entirely new faction into LEGO Castle lore, the Silver Hounds, a kingdom marked by a bulldog crest, bold, unyielding, and disciplined. Their colors lean into grays and deep reddish browns, almost feeling like an evolution of the Griffin and the Horse Knight aesthetics. This is where squires become soldiers, where recruits prove they're worthy of armor, and where future champions test their strength before ever stepping onto a battlefield. There's a raised wooden dueling platform for sword combat, training mannequins for drills, a full-on archery range, strength obstacles, and mounted horse practice. Surrounding the arena are grandstands where the weapons master, visiting nobles, and even the king himself can observe the next generation of warriors. And towering over the entire complex is a massive stone tower. At its base, a working forge to sharpen blades, and above that, a recruitment chamber where candidates are evaluated, and above that is a trophy hall honoring champions of the past. That is the story and inspiration of this set by the designer Brick Project. This set comes in at 3,361 pieces with 11 stickers. You also get 11 minifigures and 2 horse molds. There are also a lot of accessories scattered across the entire build, from swords, spears, shields, and training gear. It has everything you need to turn this into a fully populated arena. Starting on the exterior, the first thing that hits you is the shape. It's circular. We have never gotten circular castle-inspired builds before, or hardly any types of LEGO sets in general, for that matter, just because of the sheer difficulty in the architecture and the building geometry. It immediately gives off a Gladiator arena feel, almost reminiscent of the massive LEGO Colosseum, but of course this is scaled properly for minifigure storytelling and interaction. The compacted sand arena floor is beautifully framed by stonework that feels thick and grounded. It doesn't feel hollow or thin, it feels very substantial, like you're stepping into an actually arena that's used day in and day out. The base elevation is excellent too. It lifts the structure just enough to give it presence without making it feel disconnected from the ground. And the 2 trees flanking the build add just the right amount of green contrast against the grays and tans. There's even a small stream running underneath the bridge that leads right up to the tower doors. The king's seating wraps naturally around the arena, leading over to the main grandstands. It's decorated with the idea of different banners and flags from factions all around the realms. It makes me wonder how cool this would look with replacing them with actual classic castle faction shields, or whatever shields you like the best for your LEGO Castle world. The large stone tower on the side adds vertical dominance to the build. From the outside alone, you can see the layered floors and how each section stacks for different purposes. On the back side, you can also see a roped ladder up to the top of the building. On the outside of the arena itself, you also have an entryway in, guarded by soldiers, as well as some signs nearby that will most likely be stickers pointing toward particular regions around the area. Below the grandstands itself, you can see where the stables are that hold the horses, being able to poke their heads out just above the latched gate, with another way into the arena on this side as well. And then a little further down from the stables, there's a large gated entrance that has a nice little path walkway up to it. Now inside is where the training ground really becomes something special. At the base of the tower, you've got the forge, and this is one of my favorite areas. Weapons aren't just handed out, they're actually being crafted in here by a blacksmith, and I imagine that he's making custom swords and weaponry for the different types of knights that are coming to train here. When you move up one level and you hit the recruitment room, this is where new warriors are measured and evaluated. It actually gives the Silverhounds some cool lore, like this is a well-structured military faction, and they care about it very much. Then above that is the trophy hall, and this is such a cool storytelling addition, a place where past champions are honored and their victories remembered and written down on scrolls, which also gives the Silverhounds history even though we're just now meeting them. At the very top, the watchtower offers full oversight over the entire arena. From up there you can see the grounds or maybe even the entire village depending on how you set this up. Underneath the grandstand sits the royal stable, and this is where mounted training comes into play. You have the javelins, horses, and even cavalry practice that can all be carried out from the stables over to the arena. And again, everything is accessible. Ladders connect everything naturally, doors open and close. The circular layout actually helps the flow rather than hindering it, like the King's Walkway over to the grandstands that can sit a multitude of minifigures. Nothing feels cramped, and honestly, nothing is unreachable in this entire build. It's shockingly functional for a 360-degree design. You have a nice grass lane in the arena for practicing archery or maybe throwing knives. And I just want to point out too, I love the inclusion of the stick in the wall, like it's a missed archery shot, as well as the filled barrel with what we can only assume to be our arrows. There's even a bit of seating in and around the arena itself. And of course you have the sword fighting area and even a little training dummy tucked away in the corner with some spare weapons. There's also a board with some notes pinned to it and perhaps some battle plans on the table nearby, so the soldiers know what to practice day in and day out. As for the minifigures, you get 11, which are represented by the Silver Hounds faction. Now the Bulldog crest is such a fascinating design choice, and as far as the new factions go, we currently have the Krakens, Griffins, Serpent, and the Horse Knights. But with this new set, we would get a new faction, but the only way to distinguish them from anyone else would be a sticker on a plain shield, since Bricklink doesn't allow us to print new pieces, which is understandable for these fan-designed sets. The designer used a mixture of horse and griffin and serpent knight torsos, since that's really the only medieval parts we currently have available to us. I'm curious though, what faction would you like this set to be geared towards if you had to pick? And because you get 2 horses plus an abundance of weapons and accessories, this set does almost feel like an expansion set for whatever castle army you already own. And you can just gear the entire set towards your favorite faction. It's hard not to compare this set to the LEGO Coliseum set we got a few years back, just because of the circular construction and the arena concept. But where the Coliseum was purely architectural and display focused, the training ground is of course narrative and play driven. It also stands apart from something like Lion Knight's Castle because instead of being a defensive stronghold, this is actually a place of preparation. And honestly, this feels like something you could drop into almost any medieval layout, whether that be fantasy or even a realistic historical diorama. And heck, you could even just use it as a tournament-style display filled with different factions competing in front of a large crowd like their gladiators. Now, I'd estimate this set to come in right at around $350, which would be typical for a set at this size at 3,300 pieces in today's LEGO market. Training Ground might honestly be one of the most unique castle builds we've ever seen. The circular arena design alone makes it stand out on a shelf, and I absolutely love that it doesn't lock itself into one specific era or tone. You could blend this into a fantasy kingdom with dragons and magic with the Dungeons & Dragons set, or place it into a grounded medieval diorama like next to Lion Knight's Castle. I definitely don't see this being a pickup if you don't already have a medieval world started, just because it's such a unique set. But honestly, if you do have sets like the Medieval Town Square, Lion Knight's Castle, or even the previously mentioned Dungeons & Dragons set, I think adding this onto the shelf next to those would look so great as a nice, unique addition. Because I really don't see us getting something this well detailed anytime soon, because usually we always just get a castle or village when diving into this high of a piece count. And I really want to applaud the designer at crafting an entirely new faction, all while adding a bit of lore and backstory to them throughout the set. But anyways, that's going to do it for today, and I'll see you in the next video.